the colder, damper autumn air has proven to have a cooling effect on the property market. It could be good news for those wanting to enter the market, but a red flag for those needing to sell. Here to discuss, Property Apprentice founder and CFO Debbie Roberts. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you back in the studio.
Yes, I know, it's lovely here.
Been a long time.
I know.
A long time between drinks, isn't it?
Feels like we're meeting for the first time.
I know. Well, hopefully there are many vendors out there going to be meeting some sales soon. But does the weather, does the change in daylight saving, all that stuff, does it affect the market?
Absolutely it does. It's one of those things, like we often talk about how daylight saving, when that ends, the lights go off in the property market. You know, so market activity does tend to slow down, and we're already in a period where the market is slowing down. So I think that's going to make things a little bit worse for people that are trying to sell. But, you know, on the flip side, perfect opportunity for people that are looking at buying. You know, there's less competition again. I feel like I'm saying that every time I come on recently. But, you know, over the next few months, there could be some really good buying opportunities, because there will definitely be people there that will be motivated to sell.
Absolutely. Why is it that, because you would think that that the weather wouldn't have such a big effect on the market, because people do need to buy and people do need to sell, and yet we seem to have this phenomenon. What do you put that down to?
It's almost a tradition that, you know, people prepare their house for sale over the winter months and then list it after Labour weekend. You know? So I think anyone who's thinking about selling their house, don't worry so much about the weather. You know, just see what happens, because there are always people that are looking at buying. I prefer to look at property when the weather's miserable, because there's less people looking, and you can see the property at its worst.
Yes.
You know, it's hard for someone to say, no, this property never floods, if there's a pool in the backyard that's not supposed to be there. So, you know, you're seeing the property in its worst possible light. Which,
for those people who are thinking, oh, we want to sell, but we've got to do this bits and bobs, do you think it's a good idea for them to wait and do the bits and bobs, or just get it on the market now?
Look, I honestly think this is the time of the market where, if someone's looking at selling, they should be talking to their real estate agent to see whether it's worthwhile to do those extra jobs, because sometimes it's not going to make that much difference. You know, they might spend 20 or 30 grand increasing the value of the property, but to not make that back. So, yeah, talk to the real estate agent, because it'll be different in different areas, you know. Like, even if we look in Auckland, some parts of Auckland are still performing quite strongly in the property market, whereas others are really slowing down.
Yeah, what is that, the type of house that's driving that?
No, it's just regional. You know, like, so we don't have one property market in New Zealand. You know, we've got hundreds of property markets, so even variations within one city. So, yeah, it really does depend on the exact area that you're looking at.
Yeah, interesting. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
Great to have you back. As it always is good to see you. It is 10 minutes away from 9 o'clock. That's Property Apprentice founder and CFO Debbie Roberts with us this morning.